Hey everybody, my name's Canyon. I'm here at the University of Anchorage, Alaska, working on an automated aeroponic growing system. I thought I'd give you guys a little overview of how the system is expected to operate, and I'm just going to focus on the controller a little bit. But first we'll go through the components, the basic components of the system. We've got our thermoelectric cooling device here that's hooked up to what's going to be our nutrient reservoir. This nutrient reservoir is then going to be connected to our high pressure manifold here, and the pressure will be regulated down using this regulator valve there. It'll then be connected to our growing chamber, and the humidity level, our misting frequency, will be dictated by this solenoid valve, which will be controlled by our controller back over by the computer. These are the different ports we're going to be growing plants in. We've got 6 ports currently, and the system's been designed in a way that it is expandable. But currently we are working on more of a proof of concept design. So here's what we got going on. It's a little bit of a mess, as you can see. We've got this temperature probe. We've got our EC probe, electroconductivity, ppm, can be determined using that. And we have our pH probe by Atlas Scientific. Everything is being controlled and will be able to be monitored by this controller. We've got the Flex Q4. It's a controller made in British Columbia by a man, John, who's a pretty nice guy. Flex SCADA is the name of the company if you guys are curious about checking that out. We started the project out with an Arduino. We kind of veered away from it for no other reason than the expansion of our budget. And this Flex SCADA Q4 has a really beautiful graphical user interface with a lot of different options. We've got the register, we've got graphing, we've got an oscilloscope, and a logic and configuration tab. Right now we're getting some readings off of 4 of our sensors. There's only going to be one more sensor connected to this board. We'll have a couple more temperature sensors in the bus line, but the only other sensor type will be a humidity sensor. And I'll give you a little show here. So we've got, you probably can't see this very well, but we've got a pH reading of 6.8, which makes sense because we're in a cup of water here. So I would hope we had a pretty neutral pH value. We've got an EC level of 198, so that's a fairly salty water, which also makes sense because I took it from a non-potable water source, and there's also some pH concentration in there, which would bring the EC value up a little bit. Then we're reading 18.37% O2 for the air, which is reasonable. We still are going to have to calibrate all these sensors, but like I said, it's a proof of concept currently, so we're just happy to see them operating. I'll give you a little tutorial here of how these sensors are connected. This is our O2 sensor, which is a cheap little guy we got offline, and they're, like I said, all operating through this Flex SCADA Q4. The only issue we ran into using this board is it's all analog inputs. We bought a pH probe that was analog. The probe was analog, but what we didn't realize is it uses this little ESO board that converts that signal to a digital output. So in order to deal with that, what we did was we paired it up with this Arduino, and we're able to output essentially an analog signal using a filter, and then plug that into our Flex SCADA Q4 and are able to use this beautiful interface here. Another nice feature of this is it's all cloud-based, so anybody can register into this and look as long as you have an admin and a password, and you can dictate the on-off values of your relays. A couple of these sensors are going to be controlling other reservoirs that will help regulate the nutrient reservoir and make sure that our plants are staying healthy. But if you have any questions about aeroponics or the concept behind this system, I'd be happy to answer any questions. And I will be updating my project periodically on LinkedIn. So if you're intrigued, give it a like or give it a share. But I hope you have a good time following me, and have a good one.